Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Grandmasters. Hope you enjoyed that sit down with Muzzy, who is kind of catching up and just talking about all of his stuff related to Grandmasters. If you're just caught the tail end of that, that stuff's available on our YouTube right here, youtube.com/Hearthstone Esports. And TG, of course, got a chance to sit down with a lot of people. He sat down and talked to Killen all day also, which was a fun little interview. Just long form content so you guys can get to know the Hearthstone Grandmasters a little bit more in depth, or at least check in on how they're doing. Speaking of how they're doing, we are doing great. We are in the middle of the bracket, and we're going to the winners' finals, where Eddie and Bloodyface are about to go head-to-head. Bands are in, TJ, and it looks like we might see some Turtle Mage coming up here.
Yeah, I think Bloodyface's lineup is definitely more equipped to deal with the Turtle Mage than some of Eddie's previous opponents where Turtle Mage was banned. If you look at Bloodyface's lineup, he's got a lot of things that can go over the top of frozen things that Tortola and Pilgrim Chain can't interrupt, like bombs in the Bomb Warrior, or straight up base damage in Soul Demon Hunter, or how about Mindrender or Lucia in the Priest. Those types of things definitely can make it tough for Turtle Mage to find good spots to win. But that Turtle Mage is a beast of a deck, right? It's pretty difficult to play. It has failure rates built in, but its potential as a deck is through the roof. Its ability to kind of win games once it hits a certain point is through the roof. If you haven't drawn both of your Potions of Illusions and you get to turn 10, you're going to have a tough time beating that deck.
Yes, that's right.
And there it is.
It's just a hard deck in general to play and to play against. And if you're not familiar with how this deck works, just watch like one or two reps of it, and you'll kind of get the idea of what most players are aiming for, and we'll guide you through, of course. Anchored by Tortola and Pilgrim and Potion of Illusion. This time, though, no Nightblade. Instead, it is Sun Reaver War Mage. Instead of that Nightblade, because it looks like Eddie wanted to favor more flexibility. Although Nightblade was pretty funny. It just feels like the War Mage does seem a little bit more consistent because you can target minions as well.
Yeah. It's funny that you talked about the interviews that I did earlier in the week. If you want a little bit more insight into Turtle Mage, I recommend watching the Killing All Day one, because he does go into kind of the evolution of the deck. And because he brought it to week 1 and said in the interview that he was going to bring it to week 2, but didn't. He chickened out. The deck has kind of evolved to where you don't actually need any damage source like Nightblade, or in Eddie's case, Sunreaver War Mage, to win the game. Because at a certain point, you're going to be a lot of times Potion of Illusioning Solarian Prime at any given point in the game, because the Astromancer Solarian was added into decks that don't have it. So there's a lot of potential. You don't actually absolutely need direct damage in the deck in order to consistently find wins with it. Once you get that chain rolling, there's actually so many options for you to find wins, whether it's just kill them with the 1/1 Tortola and Pilgrims that you have on the board, or continue to copy 1/1 Solarian Primes with Potion of Illusion and Tortola and Pilgrim to eventually burn them out of the game, because you play enough Solarian Primes, you're going to kill them at some point. This might be a little bit tougher a matchup to do those things in, because Bloodyface is playing the Highlander Priest, which has a lot of disruption tools. There's Mindrender or Lucia. There's Zephyrus. There was one more that I made note of earlier, but maybe I'm mistaken. I thought that I could have. I guess Murzon, maybe, but Murzon is super weird with.
Yeah, for sure.
With that, but yeah, it's a weird matchup. This matchup can get even weirder when you talk about Mindrender or Lucia later on in the game.
Very much so. So either way, I think I'm just with these kinds of matchups, I always just kind of wait to see what happens, because I think you could play 20 practice games of it, and I feel like each of those games will introduce unique scenarios that you weren't prepared for, and you feel like you have a good grasp of it. After about like 5 or 6 games, most people in matchups like, okay, I think I get a good idea of like what I'm going to go for. But I think it's exactly how you describe, where like this could be one of those matchups where every single time it ever happens on broadcast, just weird stuff happens.
Yeah. Job done. Oh, it's gonna get weird. It's gonna get real weird.
Yeah, that's already starting to get kind of interesting with like, what if bloodyface just assembles, enough weird combos to disrupt Eddie to the point where he can't play that kind of stuff. We'll find out. But this Sphere of Sapience is a really important draw for Eddie, though, right? Like, we've been the only problem is that bloodyface is ready with the acidic swamp ooze.
And it's a Thought stolen acidic swamp ooze because he played his own acidic swamp ooze on 2, but then Thought stole his acidic swamp ooze. That's in Eddie's deck. So already rude stuff happening. But yeah, the main thing to look for is once we get to the later stage of the game, which we will, Eddie wants to keep a full cost for Toll and Pilgrim in hand. Reason being is because Mind Render or Lucia, especially at 3 mana, but even when it was at 2 mana, you can't dump all of the Tortolan Pilgrims that are in hand with Mind Render or Lucia if you keep a full cost 1 in hand. So if given the option later on in the game to play full cost 1 or low cost ones, it's better to float mana and play the low cost ones than it is to play the full cost 1, just so bloodyface can't play Mind Render and then dump all of them. Right. That's one main interaction to look for once we get later on. I wonder if bloodyface is going to try and find more creative use for Mind Render, but it usually doesn't happen. You usually wait till they go for the chain and then just hope that they're only holding on to 1 mana ones, and so then they can't complete the rest of the chain. But yeah, Sphere of Sapience is good, but it looks like Eddie prioritizing some tempo here. He's got time to play Sphere of Sapience. He doesn't have to play it until he draws like a Potion of Illusion, and honestly, he doesn't have to play for a while because he also has the Lorekeeper Polkelt to be able to reorder his deck and make sure that he's drawing his cards in the right order. But again, doesn't have to play that until he's like going into turn 8 when he would want to draw the Tortolan Pilgrim anyway.
Right. Yeah, I'd say overall, like, he's pretty much in a slow position here. Like, I feel like the Priest doesn't have... Like, I feel like Priest doesn't have a meaningful proactive game plan against the Mage, and it just feels like Priest waits for Mage to assemble a combo, or... and then when they do, they try to mess things up. Also, there's like that weird instance of like if you Mind Render and you draw a card that can swap from their deck, and like maybe that ends up playing a key part as well, which is pretty interesting to think about.
Yeah. It's weird, and nothing really happens until later on. There's small decision points here where both players try and wrestle tempo. I wonder. But it's small. Like I wouldn't even be surprised if Eddie just pings and vaporizes here. He could also ping and set up Firebrand to be able to make sure that he can deal with bloodyface trying to play more for tempo.
Yeah, it's super critical to not mess up. It's most likely, all these plays are pretty straightforward with what's going to happen, but they don't want to do anything that'll cost them big because they got careless about how sequencing went or how they spend their resources. But yeah, I think that bloodyface, well, he drew this Kronks, which is interesting. I wonder if playing Kronks and Galakron as soon as you can is actually a good thing, because maybe that gives you more chances to hero power and get Mind Render or Lucia. Because you get a random minion, right? So you might get a Lucia over and over.
I wonder.
Theoretically possible. Any dragons that can mess it up? I don't think so.
Yeah. Any dragon that can mess things up knows Dormu.
Dormu messes everything up. Actually, Dormu would be sick. And you could slow play it too. You wait till the rope burns, slam down Storm Boot, and turn as fast as you can.
Yeah, maybe that's one of the ways you get there, just by generating cards that can generate dragons, like Skeletal Dragon, and then finding a way to win from there. From Eddie's perspective, he finds the Firebrand as an opportunity to clear, but it does cost him other cards. The 6x is kind of annoying to deal with, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wonder if he wants to play the Lore Keeper here because he can go into the Tortolan Pilgrim next turn. And so when Tortolan Pilgrim, I mean, he's gonna be able to start guaranteeing it, right? So that way the Potion of Illusions gets drawn later.
Yes. So now he knows his draws. He has first Tortolan in hand, and second Tortolan will be drawn. And then it's just a matter of getting the mana to be able to use all of those things.
Okay, so this is actually a really interesting position because bloodyface knows exactly what's going to happen.
I must consider.
The Lore Keeper stacks your most expensive cards at the top of your deck, and then organizes it to the lowest. If he plays the Mind Render, he knows that there's an opportunity to coin out into a guaranteed Tortolan Pilgrim next turn. And so if he wants to start interrupting, he's going to have to plan around that in particular. It seems like for now he's just going to remove a bunch of the damage on the board and make sure to take out things like the Sapience, because the Sapience is really powerful to make sure that Eddie will line up the exact card that he's looking for, because when you know the draw order of your deck, that kind of changes a lot of that dynamic of the basis of which card games are built upon. There's your playstyle changes dramatically because you're playing around ranges versus guarantee outcomes.
Yeah. Alright, so Eddie now has Mind Render Lucia Protection, because he has both of his full cost Tortolan Pilgrims in hand.
What to do? What to do?
So for Eddie, it's just about finding a safe turn to being able to play Tortolan Pilgrim where he won't die the next turn, which is very easy.
Time runs out on me.
Because bloodyface isn't killing him anytime soon.
Yeah, I think that this is, I mean, it's time to go, right? Like, in the sense that this is kind of the way you've been setting up your combos, and you start getting the really cheap Pilgrims and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's too many spells in bloodyface's deck for Tortolan Pilgrim to be good right back.
Wait a second. So Eddie played... Yeah, he just Mind Renders now. Because Eddie played Tortolan Pilgrim without... He used the coin. And didn't play the second one. So now bloodyface just plays Mind Render Lucia, dumps the 1-mana Tortolan, but then he can dump the 8-mana one. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. That's why having the other one's good, because he wanted... So, like, Eddie thought that this would be a situation where you could play the Pilgrim and choose not to play the Potion of Illusion. Wait, unless... No, that's not how it works. Wait!
No,
What if he just played another Mind Render Lucia at that point? No, because then the same... Oh, wait, but then it starts to get really weird, right?
Well, yeah, because now Eddie has to play the full cost Tortolan Pilgrim. So, bloodyface's win condition, because he won't win straight up. I'm 99% sure he won't win a straight up game anymore. His win condition is nail the Raise Dead on Mind Render Lucia, and then dump the rest, because in order for Eddie to continue the combo from this point, he has to play the full cost Tortolan. There is a world where Eddie can fill up his hand with 8 Tortolan Pilgrims. That's very difficult, especially considering he's already played Lore Keeper Polkelt, and so every card he draws is going to be incredibly expensive. Yeah, it's impossible. Can't fill it up with 8. Okay, not impossible, but very unlikely. And that protects him against potentially the second Mind Render Lucia. But that's a very, very low out because it would have to be raised dead, and he'll have, at that point, a decent amount of minions that die on him.
Yeah, it gets real weird.
Yeah, and also, bloodyface is going to start to be on a clock. And, I mean, this turn from Eddie, yes, there's a lot of things that he can dump here. Looks like he wants to just pull a spell out of the deck. If he gets raised dead, oh. Okay, it's Renew. And Arcane Breath. I guess he could also invoke and render Lucia. That's another potential out. But he is on a clock now because bloodyface or Eddie in a few turns will draw the Sunreaver War Mage, which once that is added into the Potion of Illusion pool with Tortollan Pilgrim, then he's only got a limited amount of time left.
Right. So my question was, if there was an opportunity for bloodyface to have played a Potion of Illusion on the Mindrender Lucia, because he had one on board, and he could play it again.
He just has so many spells in his deck.
You're in my hands.
Yes,
oh no, he doesn't, because he had the other deck.
Yes, so he switches decks with him.
You're in
okay.
my hands now.
That was my thought, right?
That's never come up in any of my
practice scenarios, right? It never came up in. I played like 2 games of this, and it took very long.
I played like 15 games of it, which
there's other matchups to practice, TJ.
I know.
There's a lot of matchups to practice. And so I thought that if you play a Lucia twice, you end up swapping twice, which means that you end up keeping it, which means that he would actually end up being able to play Eddie's deck, and Eddie would have to play the priest deck. If I'm mistaken, you should definitely let me know now so I stop talking about it. But
I don't know, Dan. I need a consultation.
Well, either way, that's not what's happening. And you find just like more utility cards over and over. Oh, a raise dead.
Running out.
Oh wow! Now I really hope that happens. Oh, interesting. He's just gonna fill up his hand. Gets some pretty mediocre cards here. Eddie has the ability to play the Tortollan Pilgrim now.
Yeah. Okay. Got confirmation from 2 different sources that that's not how it works.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think that's how it works. That's why I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I hadn't had an opportunity to do it, which is why it was just more of a spontaneous question. But
yeah.
You're in my hands now.
But he could. We're so focused on the. He could potion up. No, because then he'd give his opponent the mind render. I don't know. There's no way to do it. Yeah. So we're back to bloodyface's out being invoke into a mind render Lucia and dump all the Tortollans. And he can't do that if he puts 8 in hand. There's 6 in hand. Oh no!
Yikes. I don't know why bloodyface felt the need to raise dead the previous turn when he filled up his hand to 10. I felt like, because there's no 0-mana minions that you can play, right? So why play the raise dead there versus wait for this turn to start after you played a card is definitely one of the questions that's on my mind.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it felt like he was on the right path. He got
Right.
he played Galakrond as quickly as he could, given the situation, to try and be able to hit the hero power button as many times as he could. But
What
now
if-
the next draw
Wait.
will be either Jandis or... Oh, no, it's the Blizzard. Second Blizzard in his deck.
Yes, that's the Blizzard.
Yeah. So then next will either be Jandis or the Sunreaver. And once the Sunreaver is added in, that's when Bloodyface's time starts to... What?
Wait, TJ. What if Bloodyface draws Zephyrus and
Okay.
manipulates it to offer Mukla, and then you burn the Sunreaver Mage? Because you know that it's drawn in a specific order. He's also seen the hand, so he should know that
What
this is
to
Blizzard
do?
being drawn, and he's also playing from the right side of his hand. What if that is a possibility?
Okay, sure.
And then there's only
At
one
this point, I'll
Sunreaver
take
War
it.
Mage in the deck. Then he doesn't have the damage win condition.
Yeah, another possibility is now that Bloodyface has seen Blizzard, and once he'll see the 5-mana card next turn, he'll know that only Frost Nova's in the deck. So if he plays a minion big enough and puts Apotheosis on it, we could be in for an infinite loop that goes to Fatigue, where Bloodyface has a massive lifesteal minion in play. Eddie has no way to damage with Tortolan Pilgrims. I guess he could damage with the War Mage, never mind, because it's not face. Oh, that's where the Sunreaver War Mage is better than the Nightblade.
Yeah, because you can kill.
Because you can actually use it to damage minions instead of just damaging face, so you can use it to clear if you've drawn both your Blizzards.
Right. Well, Bloodyface already kind of played around that. Or sorry, Eddie already played around that because he played to 7 cards. So he's actually he accounted for the possibility that Bloodyface could try to burn his card.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, we're talking about fringe outs here because Eddie has a near guaranteed victory as long as one of two things don't happen. Bloodyface doesn't fill up his hand and burn the Sunreaver War Mage, in which case it would go to Fatigue, in which case Eddie would probably still win. Because he's ahead on Fatigue. And two, Eddie messes up. I guess there's a third, which is Mindrender Lucia and dump all the Tortolan Pilgrims. But the Mindrender Lucia, since he's already played the natural one in his deck and burned his Raised Dead, would have to be gotten from either an Invoke card in his deck, which he's played them, or from this Galakrond Hero Power. But there's a lot of minions in the pool, so it's very unlikely that he's going to get one. Still has some time, and this is going to extend his clock a little bit. The fact that Eddie drew the Janus on 5 instead of War Mage, he will have one extra turn.
Thinking real hard here on like what's the way, what are some options that Bloodyface has, but just doesn't look like he has many or any.
Any spells that Tortolan Pilgrim can pull from his deck? I don't think so. Nothing that would make a significant impact onto this board. Just play a card, hit the button, hope for Mind Render. That's the only thing he can do.
Yeah, another thing they could have done was just get the Mind Render and then swap, and then he draws the Sun Mage. And then finds a way to...
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he still loses from that point, because then it would just... Eddie would still have the combo, and it would just go to Fatigue, and then Eddie... It looks like Eddie would win in Fatigue. Yeah, this is...
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. This is over, 100% now, I think.
Because now he has to Mind Render, dump everything... I mean, I guess it's still... possible. It has to be Mind Rendered this turn. And it would have to be Hero Power Mind Render. He only have 5 mana left. Right. So Eddie can kind of play around it if he leaves 5, but he doesn't have enough hand space to leave 5.
Yeah, because there's not even a way to deal with the board in the deck anymore.
Yeah.
It's just Frost Nova and Potion of Illusion.
Alright, this Hero Power, he has to... Oh, nope, he loses because he can't dump a card that's cheap enough to dump all the Tortolans.
He doesn't have board space either for it.
Yeah, doesn't have board space because one of the cards... Oh, well, yeah, there's 4 Tortolan Pilgrims. Yeah, he doesn't have board space either.
I guess he could kill his own thing to do it, but...
Then he'd just be super limited on mana.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Bloodyface tried, but inevitability with the Turtle Mage. Game number 1 over to Eddie. This best of 5. And Eddie's still being very brave to bring this Mage deck list because mostly everybody in Grandmasters program has avoided bringing this, but I love that he has this fondness for this kind of deck because it's very unusual. You're not going to see this very much on ladder or in tournaments. So this is pretty much the only place that you can really get to see it. It's Eddie and Grandmasters.
Yeah. Oh man, this deck really. It's a big challenge. I actually had Killing All Day on speed dial during that match to ask him those questions. Because even if you put some amount of games in this deck, you're likely not to run into any of those situations. Or many of those situations. The Mind Render one, I had a hunch just because I'm pretty sure we saw that happen in Europe. Or at least it was talked about in Europe where the infinite chain of Mind Renders, no matter how many Mind Renders you play, you're always going to get swapped back to whatever your original deck was. Even if like you play 15 Mind Renders in a single turn. But when you're in those positions, you try and think you're desperate because your win condition is out the window. As soon as he played the first Mind Render, he was hoping that because Eddie played the Tortolan Pilgrim off the top, that he knew was there because Sphere of Sapience. He was just hoping that that was a desperation move from Eddie, and that's the best timing for it because that's the only time you can potentially try and find a way to disrupt your opponent's combo as long as they're not going to mess up, and Bloodyface has enough respect for Eddie, knowing that he's not going to mess up something as crucial as that in the matchup. Whew.
Yeah, very much
Right.
so. And I was in a similar position, I think, as Bloodyface Roach. Just like I feel like we were tasked to find a way, any like 0.01% chance for him to get an out, but it was tough no matter how you slice it. And these kinds of interactions, they're still pretty new. Just because again, there's no real turtle mages on ladder anymore. And therefore, you don't really get this interaction even if you queue up as priest. You would have to play as the mage to see if someone could do that to you. But either way, we know it's definitely a journey that we're all in together as we go into game number 2. We can find if this Demon Hunter deck can apply enough pressure to stop the mage from comboing them. And I think this is a good test because this Demon Hunter is a very powerful mid-range style deck that really ramps up in the damage, and it should be a very good test against mage in particular, because we'll see.
Problem is you're still on a clock because this mage deck, yes, theoretically you'd say, well, Tortolan Pilgrim feels like it's, when you start that chain, yes, it can freeze the board, but it feels like it's weak to, burn damage from hand. But it runs double Earthen Ring Farseer, it runs double Kartut Defender. So Kartut Defender just makes this Demon Hunter's life very difficult because they usually only have, one big single attack and one big AoE spell or AoE minion in the form of Shard Shatter. So if you don't put on the pressure early and you give them time to get to that combo, all of a sudden you're staring at copied Earthen Ring Farseers, Kartut Defenders, and the deck does have a limited amount of damage. It is finite. So if you start getting to that point where they're healing a bunch, you're going to find it difficult to come back into it.
All right, so early game pretty straightforward here as Bloodyface just kind of removes that early game pressure. You talked a lot about like the pressure tools that a Demon Hunter has, and I was just kind of thinking about how, in an abstract way, it does feel like this Demon Hunter deck. Funny that both decks actually play Lord Keeper, by the way. This feels kind of like an actual burn deck from Demon Hunter in a way, because it's damage from hand, but it's not. It has like no minions really involved outside of like I guess Kayn, or even Gladebound deck can kind of be interpreted as burn if you play that variant of it. And so it's like, how does Eddie's really disappointed to see that? How does Eddie's deck deal with basically a mid-range burn deck? And I think that's like Demon Hunter is kind of one of the few classes that really does it in this style now. Before in the past, I think Warrior did it. Rogue kind of does it with some of their weapon builds right now, but I personally think those decks are a little bit more gimmicky than anything at the moment. So we'll see. Oh, an evocation? We will take those.
Yeah. I mean, you generate a Frostbolt from that bad boy, you are cooking.
That's right.
Cooking. Buys you a whole
Or
extra
deep
turn.
freeze.
Yeah. Good stuff all around. Bloodyface now playing the Lord Keeper Polkelt because he drew his Soul Zeologist, which means he's guaranteed next card is Skull of Gul'dan, which will be outcast immediately. So I'm looking for Bloodyface to set up a kind of a big burst combo. I am thinking he is not going to play this Kayn until he's going for a lethal push, just because he doesn't want to get into the situation I mentioned earlier of staring at a wall of 1/1 card 2 defenders and no way to get past it. Given his reasonably slow start, I think that he might be in a position where that's a necessity to hold on to. So still a long ways left to go for Bloodyface. For me to think that Bloodyface has some hope. He's going to dump the evocation now.
Deep freeze. It's too late though.
Just for removal.
Yeah. I guess so.
I think
Evocation 1 mana, deal 4 damage to a bunch of minions. Oh wow, Skull Gul'dan off the top of the deck.
Yeah. And Eddie was hoping that the Sociologist wasn't in hand, because that would mean he wouldn't get that, and gets double Lapidary. The awkward part is, if he wants to hold on to Kayn, he can never outcast this second skull. And one of the other things about Lord Keeper Polkelt is your opponent can kind of piece together what your hand is based off of cards that you play towards the right side of your hand. So Bloodyface plays Marl Slicer here. Eddie has the guaranteed read that both Lapidaries are in hand, plus second skull. In which case, if I were Bloodyface, I'd play the Marl Slicer that's on the left side to not give him that information. Not that it matters too much in the grand scheme of things, but just good practice, especially at this level against a player as good as Eddie, to not give him any more information than you have to.
This is tough. Do you want to remove this minion?
I feel like you have to, because of the threat of acidic swamp ooze.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of decision is... I mean, this feels doomed. I don't know. This is so weird.
Yeah, because he gets the card too. Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
So
no.
Now Kayn can't be played. So Bloodyface has to piece together a... an OTK?
I don't know if you can. I don't think it's possible to amass an OTK, especially if Eddie's playing taunts.
Yeah, because even if he... Okay, so if he plays double Soulshard Lapidary, Kayn has a Marrow Slicer equipped and has a Twin Slice. That's 21 damage. Can he piece together a 2-turn kill? Because Eddie needs time to set up card 2 defenders. Because this board, he knows this board is getting frozen.
Yeah,
He knows that card 2 defender is played. So if he pushes 10 this turn, next turn he Kains, Soul Shards, and that's not enough.
It's a good attempt. But it seems like Eddie's online. It took a little bit too long for bloodyface to ramp up the damage.
Yeah.
You're in my hands now.
So I guess from here, Eddie's job is pretty straightforward, which is to just keep putting stuff in the way and stall, right? So you can go ahead and Frost Nova this.
Yep. Make sure at the end of every turn he has a at least one Tortolan Pilgrim and at least one Cartoon Defender in hand, and he's solid. That's it. That's all he has to do. And I think from that point, it's nearly impossible for bloodyface to win.
Wait.
Okay, wait! Consume magic?
On his own? No.
It's an enemy minion, consume magic, but it does.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking it might allow him to push damage this turn. Use the mana to push damage this turn, but there's 2 Cartoon Defenders, so.
He also has no more soul fragments in his deck.
Yeah,
You can put
he
it
has
into
Marl
the,
Slicer, but that's too much mana.
Yeah, exactly. The Slicer is too expensive at this point.
All right, so Volpure Scoundrel into
Glide.
into what?
I grow impatient.
Selena? No wait, you can't generate that randomly.
I can't find.
I mean,
a
glide into just tempo your opponent, and hopefully that your quality minions beat his.
I grow impatient.
He plays Golden Golden. He doesn't even know what to do at this point. Floats 2 mana. I think he's kind of resigned himself to his fate. It's looking real bad, DJ.
All right, so he has no Soul Shards in the deck, so Soul Shard Lapidary is not active, so he has to spend at least 2 mana to activate that. That plus Kayn is 6, Soul Shard Lapidary is 8, Twin Slice, Second Slice is 10. That'd be max damage, that's 9, that's 12 damage. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You're in my hands now.
He can hope that
Yeah, I
Eddie messes up.
Yeah, basically, I was gonna say the same thing. He's gonna hope that there's like an opportunity that Eddie creates for him. I just don't feel like that's gonna be the case, because
Time runs out on me.
even if Eddie decided to just kind of play this style, Eddie's just actually gonna kill him with like tempo, because he just keeps having frost and keeps pushing it, and yeah. Oh, Eddie actually had his Bone Wraith come out before the Pilgrim, and then he didn't want to fill up his board, so he's just gonna burn his next card.
Which doesn't matter. I mean, if it's Sunriver War Mage, sure, it delays the game slightly.
Demons.
Alright, so with Soul Jailer, bloodyface can push a whopping 14 damage this turn. Ooh.
Yeah.
I grow impatient. Time grows short.
So what's his max potential damage? Kayn plus the Lapidary is 6, and then he would need 4 Twin Slices is the max, and he'd have to have a Marl Slicer equipped. That would be if you picked up like Volpure Scoundrel and got a 3rd Twin Slice with a it wouldn't change anything. So Marl Slicer equipped, that's 9, 13 plus 8. 21. Like, it's still not even enough. That's the max damage he can do with Kayn, Lapidary, Marl Slicer equipped, and the Twin Slices.
Yeah. I mean, this is just a little bit too hard to overcome, and like at this point, bloodyface has just been completely locked out from interacting with Eddie's board in hand because it's just kind of set up this infinite combo. And bloodyface has no outs.
This deck makes me miss Topsy Turvy Priest.
Does it?
I never thought I'd say that. Yeah, because when Topsy Turvy Priest started its combo, it also ended its combo. When it went in, it either won or lost. When Turtle Mage goes in,
impatient.
it probably wins, but in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I guess I just feel for bloodyface right now because it doesn't feel like there's really much for him to be able to figure out. Like, we've been staring at the same hand, and he's trying to been using the sociologist to potentially clear off a big portion of the board. But the crux issue still exists, which is kind of what you were talking about. There's still a Card 2 Defender, and there's still a Bone Wraith in the hand. This is one of the most powerful cards in the deck. It got full value, and yet nothing really was able to change of it. Bloodyface is kind of hoping that Eddie... Oh, well, I think that's just death. Yeah, that's lethal. I believe.
It's not active.
Oh, you're right, because he's not holding the spell.
Yeah, both Blizzards in his deck.
Right?
I mean,
What to
you're right, Dan. It is lethal,
do?
but it's going to take a little bit more time.
A couple more turns, yeah.
As soon as he got the first Potion of Illusion on a Card 2 Defender and a Tortolan Pilgrim, it was lethal.
You're in my
That's right.
hands now.
The acidic swamp ooze comes back.
And still ends the turn with a 1-mana Tortolan in hand, 1-mana Kartut in hand. As long as he keeps doing that,
Runs out on me.
As long as he keeps doing that, he is good to go. I mean, bloodyface, once more, probably going to wait to see if you can draw a Vampiro Scoundrel. Something. Anything. No, there's just too much, like, the Reborn makes everything come back. Bloodyface concedes. Eddie, 2 games in a row with this mage. Running a convincing case that people should be evaluating this deck more properly. Maybe even banning it, TJ.
most players are banning it, but on paper it feels like Bloodyface's lineup is more equipped to deal with it than most of the lineups that we've seen. But in the Swiss stage, Eddie did beat Bloodyface, albeit a close one. It was 3-2. He did beat him. So if history were to repeat itself, then Eddie would have the advantage in the series. Bloodyface got Warrior left, though, and he reverse swept Zalae with Warrior. So it's a possibility. And also a little tidbit you can see on the screen there, Bloodyface 11-2 with Bomb Warrior so far in the combined Swiss, plus now his performance earlier in the initial matches for the group. So if there's any deck that can help him come back in this one, it is Bomb Warrior. And I mean, again, similar to the Demon Hunter, it is damage from hand, but in kind of a different way, because you're shuffling the bombs into their deck, and that makes it almost impossible for Eddie as the Turtle Mage to plan his turns down to a T like he could with Demon Hunter to like guarantee a victory out of something crazy. With Bomb Warrior, you can never fully be safe as long as there's enough bombs in your deck that can kill you. There's always the possibility that they will. So also, I mean, look back to last week with Eddie's Turtle Mage. The deck does have a built-in failure rate, which is drawing both of your potions, or never drawing Polket and not having Tortolan Pilgrim to start that infinite chain when you need it. there are both of those failsafes built into the deck where outside of those things, the deck really doesn't do that much. It's just a bunch of healing and control tools and minions. And so we'll see if it can, if Eddie can get that combo rolling for 3 games in a row. But he only needs to do it once. If you look at it in a vacuum, so who knows? I think again, I would maybe favor bloodyface in this one, just because the law of averages. Eddie can't keep getting away with it, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
I mean, he's getting away with it, but like overall, Eddie's been playing pretty clean with the deck in particular.
He has very
I
clean.
like the no ping pass, just to make sure that he's not activating Battle Rage.
Uh-oh, Dan.
Oh, okay.
So one more turn.
Does Eddie have lethal next turn, or will bloodyface have lethal next turn?
It all comes down to one
Here
draw.
we go. The 1 out of 24.
I didn't see it. What was it? Oh. All right. So now Eddie can play the greed game. He can flirt with disaster here.
Right.
So if he plays Lorekeeper Pulkit now, he's already drawn 2 of his high cost minions. So it's like a math problem, right? He needs to be able to make sure that he can initiate the combo before he would naturally draw his Potion of Illusion if he plays Lorekeeper Pulkit right now. He has 2 Cartoon Defenders, 2 Blizzards, and Jandis. So 5 turns. He should have enough time.
Yeah.
He would still have Frost Novas in his deck, so I don't think he cares about drawing both of his Blizzards. But
doesn't he want to draw his Blizzard because of Sunreaver?
Time runs out on me.
I think he wants to play the Lord Keeper as well, because that also means not only does he prevent the Potion of Illusion, I think the Potion of Illusion prevention as the primary motivator is not actually a really good general way to approach these kinds of things, because it's like a 1 out of 23. You're playing around such a low percentage, but you don't need to. But the reason why I think it's good is because it lines up pretty cleanly. Next turn he draws the other Tortolan. He's on 5 mana. On 6 mana he'll draw. Oh right.
And he played Wrench Caliber.
Yeah. That ruins everything. That ruins everything.
Yeah, it's funny because bloodyface overrid his Ankar to play Wrench Caliber. Because shuffling the bottom of the deck shuffles the deck in total, so it gets rid of the Lorekeeper Pulkit. But then it shuffled the
theory
Ooze on
makes
top
sense, though.
to get rid of his.
What can I ask for?
Yeah. It's just funny how it worked out. Yeah, the theory is there. Oh no. And he got the
theory
Ankar
makes
back.
sense for Eddie, because he would be drawing Blizzard right now, because he would have drawn the Pilgrim on the other turn, and then everything would have lined up very cleanly. But
yes, and Eddie doesn't know that.
Wait, he can just play the Pulkit again.
And then bloodyface plays
Another Wrench Caliber
again.
Yes.
Oh man.
This is so great. Meanwhile, bloodyface, by the way, is taking a ton
He's
of
at
damage.
10 health.
He's gonna die next turn.
So if he plays Wrench Caliber here, swings and armors up, there's a chance for Eddie to have lethal because he has arcane missiles. There'd be no minions on board, and then he could find like a Frostbolt or arcane missiles from the magic trick.
Well, I mean, if he draws Blizzard, he also has the Sunreaver active as well. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And
then Sunreaver Warmage plus arcane missiles would probably be enough in that case.
Yeah.
So
He's gonna do it.
Oh no. So he could. What can he do even?
Okay.
Well, so the bomb will shuffle, so he won't be guaranteed to draw. Well, he would draw if Wrench Caliber wasn't played the second Tortolan Pilgrim first, and then Blizzard. So Sunreaver Warmage won't be active. But by playing the Wrench Caliber and shuffling, maybe that then puts the Blizzard on top. Is he just going to armor up?
He's
Armor
gonna
up,
shield
shield
slam a 1/1.
All right, so
It's so
desperate. He's at 11 health, So with the 4 damage, he's at 7 health. Arcane missiles. So an arcane missiles or a frostbolt off of magic trick would be lethal.
Here we go. For the game.
You start with magic trick just to see, and then play changes from there, I suppose.
Yeah.
Ooh. Primordial studies into Azure Explorer. And then he'd be 1 damage off.
Ah, you're right. Wait, what if he gets a Tricaster?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Solarian is definitely a really good pick. I like Astromancer, Solarian, and Potion of Blue. It's a really fun interaction.
Yeah, it's a crazy interaction.
Oh my gosh, bloodyface still has opportunities to gain life here. Zephyrus is
Definitely
too far
not
away.
active.
Yeah.
It's got 5 duplicates left. So can't even like
Risky
cutting class to
Skipper,
dig.
Yeah, Risky Skipper, Lord Baroff clears off most of the board here. He actually has the opportunity to Shield Slam again. But like, going back to what we were saying before, it's still a dicey situation.
You're in my hands now.
Would you like to draw the bomb? Tortilla Pilgrim offers you the ability to pick up the bomb. That's actually really funny.
All right.
Okay, so the deck for the Warrior deck is actually starting to, really pop off here, but might be a little bit late here. It doesn't even have a way to deal with the Pilgrim without swinging his weapon at the moment.
Yeah. At this point, you probably just don't even deal with it. I don't know.
Maybe just go face. Just hope for some miracle like triple bomb out. And then Blastmaster Boom.
Sure, Tortollan Pilgrim killing it means that your opponent gets 1 less, but it doesn't really matter that he gets 1 less because you can keep the chain going. Your win condition isn't trying to make sure that he doesn't have Tortollan Pilgrims anymore. Your win condition is shuffle as many bombs into his deck and then hope that he draws all of them and have some combination with Blastmaster Boom. He also has Deathwing Mad Aspect in hand, so you can always clear everything off.
Oh, wait, we forgot about this possibility. The fact that you get offered a Potion of Illusion.
If you shuffle enough bombs to the deck, it won't get Potion of Illusion. But he does have the backup plan of the second Tortollan Pilgrim. So there are now 3 bombs in the deck.
That's right.
So there also will eventually be the possibility if he shuffles enough in where he won't even be offered a freeze. Oh no, he would be offered a freeze because it offers 3 different ones.
It's true. Power of Creation would give him a spell that can activate the War Mage. And then the War Mage plus Arcane Missiles and Hero Power is 8 damage from the hand.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of doing it without the actual combo. He's just kind of playing a tempo style.
Yeah. So here's an interaction question. The more bombs that you have in your deck, does that increase the likelihood that Tortollan Pilgrim shows a bomb? Because it will only ever show 1 copy of each spell, but
I don't think so, because it depends
just
on
takes
the other
each individual
spells,
spell and gives it
right?
the same weighting.
Yeah. I think also because, I don't think that's really the case there.
Well, I guess, theoretically it's impossible to know, right? Because you'd have to have thousands upon thousands of sample sizes to know if it does affect it or if it's just variance. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Alright, well, it looks like Bloodyface is just going to die. Oh, no, he's not.
5,
4,
9. He's alive by 2. No, he's got the Power of Creation into the Argent Commanders, I believe.
Then it shuts off the War Mage.
Well, I'll say that he would just kill him right here, right now. if he had the Argent Commanders.
Yeah, I know, but if you don't hit it,
if you don't hit the Tortillon Pilgrim, so the way he could navigate around that is actually just wait until he draws his Frost Nova or his Blizzards. But what if he misses?
My hands now.
What if he misses?
he missed.
Oh,
All right.
wow.
We got ourselves a
This is-
game. Yeah, but the longer he, like, it's way more likely at this point that he draws a bomb than he draws a Frost Nova or a Blizzard.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that right now, he's kind of in an awkward spot. I mean, Eddie also has the ability for power creation to be the out, but it's kind of like what you said. That shuts off the Sun Reaver War Mage.
It might be a desperation attempt, though.
Draws the Blizzard. There it is.
Well, there's also the out of, now that he draws
Xavius.
Blizzard, he can go for power of creation, and if he draws the Potion of Illusion, he could then Sun River War Mage into Sun River War Mage.
Okay.
That's 8 burst.
Wait, Zephyrus
buddy-
is active.
Well, there's only 6 cards left. All right, Brawl,
Yeah,
Blade
but
Storm,
now,
and then Armor
now
Up.
there's a chance for bloodyface to just win this game.
Yeah, because now the Potion of Illusion is not even a lethal out. All right, Blastmaster Boom.
Yeah, I think now's the time, right? Is it?
Your wish is my suggestion.
Wait, he
Just
saw
like Zephyrus.
Ooze.
So cleave.
Wait a second. I think Bloodyface. I'm not 100% sure, but Bloodyface is like, okay, I saw Ooze. I have no weapons in my deck, so and I have a Captain Greenskin that I can't make use of. I'm just gonna slam a Tyrion, and that's my damage. But
Fire Elemental faces
wait,
Manipulator Soul Cleave.
wait.
That was unusual.
Tombs.
Five bombs in the deck, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
What to do? What to do?
Can he dodge bombs enough to win in fatigue? Oh man. Problem is, he's going to gain so much life with Armorsmith plus Cartoot Defender. Like, honestly, as weird as it was, and probably not a part of Bloodyface's plan, this Cartoot Defender that he got off of,
Yeah.
or the Faces Manipulator
the Faces
that he got.
Manipulator was actually really good. Man,
All right, so
Zephyrus is so galactic brain, we don't even understand. He just understands better than we do.
Zephyrus is like, you don't want Tyrion, idiot. You need to heal.
And he's kind of right.
Yeah, but the Fire Elemental doesn't fit into Zephyrus' plan there.
Oh no, Zephyrus wanted to make the Faces Manipulator pick so obvious that he offered you 2 other subpar choices. It's really helping you out there.
He's like, all right, you need to heal, and here's a Fire Elemental that I know you won't pick. So Bloodyface probably waiting on Blastmaster Boom until he can activate it immediately, so his
Wait.
board doesn't get full from a Frost Nova potentially, which means risky Skipper draw, which I believe he still has one left in his deck, or Blade Storm.
Blade Storm, yep.
I mean, that's a potentially huge amount of burst damage, and it would very likely put Eddie on 1 or 2 bomb draws to win. Eddie's win condition at this point is fatigue. I think he does still have a risky skipper left in his last 2 cards. So that Bladestorm is to try and make sure the board is as empty as possible for the Risky Skipper Blastmaster Boom turn. Oh my gosh. So a fourth of his deck, I believe, is bombs, roughly. I think there's 5 bombs.
What to do? What to do?
Just playing Doomsayer here doesn't feel terrible. And he's throwing the Wand Thief, because Doomsayer actually provides you some protection against Risky Skipper plus Blastmaster Boom. Because Bloodyface only has 7 cards left total, there's nothing randomly generated that he can get, so Eddie can narrow down to exactly what Bloodyface is trying to do, and if he thinks that Blastmaster Boom plus Risky Skipper is out. At the same time, though, Bloodyface could just pass the turn and then do the same the next turn. So the timing here on this Doomsayer, just to try and soak damage, I feel is really important. He may need to wait till Bloodyface goes into fatigue, but then he only has 4 health or 3 health on board with the Sunreaver War Mage, which is not enough to soak anything. Yep, there's Risky Skipper.
Okay.
So, all right, he's not going to play the Risky Skipper with it.
Oh my goodness. This might actually happen.
So you play Doomsayer, Wand Thief, and then Blizzard?
I think so.
Put as much health on board as possible to try and take as less damage as possible?
The end is coming!
Right. I mean, Eddie still just needs a little bit more. Cone of Cold might be nice. Cone of Cold actually is pretty decent. It basically is Blizzard for the amount of minions that Bloodyface can play onto the board. Netherwind Portal is like okay, but you like a random 4-drop plus the fact that Bloodyface only has 6 cards left in the entire deck.
Time runs out on me.
Feels kind of sketchy to me.
All right. Eddie wants a lot of 1 damage bombs on this Doomsayer. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That was incredibly reasonable.
That was pretty reasonable, and Bloodyface still has his board, but this Sky Raider has to do a lot here. Oh, well, I mean, it's a reasonably sized minion.
If only. Oh, and Cone of Cold positioning. Well done.
Nice.
Wow.
I mean, it's positioned against like Rolling Fireball and other things like that too. There's a lot of reasons to separate things in Mage. Oh, he fights a Firebrand.
All right, so you probably want to cash in on Firebrand right now?
Right.
Because he doesn't have many spells in his deck.
Well, we know what's happening, right? Like, if in Eddie's position, we know Random Pirate, Risky Skipper, Brawl, and Corsair Cash. There's no other possibilities.
Yeah.
Maybe... I wonder if Eddie can greed this at all. And, like, just play card 2 Defender and pass. And, like, with a ping. I don't think you can.
You fight.
Yeah, I think Eddie might want to see if his next draw is going to be Potion of Illusion. For that card 2 Defender.
Time runs out on me.
Yeah, wow, those pings from the Firebrand end up allowing that Blastmaster Boom to get shot down over 2 turns. And here we go, the beginning of the end.
He's got a lot of health to work with, and Eddie has a lot of bombs in his deck.
Right. But just because you have a lot of bombs does not put you at a guarantee. He is all in. A blizzard would be so big if it's still there. A bomb gets drawn.
Oh.
Sphere Sapiens.
Okay. So how much can he take off the board?
Take off 8. And I wonder if on Bloodyface's side, it's actually better to just not attack? No, you still push 5 if you do that. So he heals for 6 and you push for 5. Yeah, that's still net damage. You don't want him to draw Potion of Illusion. But still, Eddie can actually opt out of the bomb, right?
He can.
Wait.
Oh, but he doesn't want a Doomsayer.
I don't. Yeah. Well, are you sure he doesn't want to draw? If he draws and he gets a bomb, he loses. So wouldn't it actually be better if he just Doomsayers now to guarantee a board clear?
Yeah, but
Wait, but then what if he loses the brawl?
You 100% Doomsayer, because you can. Yeah, no, he just wins, right? Because
if
every time
Bloodyface
he's
wins the brawl, if Bloodyface wins the brawl and there's still a Captain Greenscan, Eddie can still lose.
No, because all Eddie's going to do is play Doomsayer, ping the Captain Greenskin, and then preemptively trade into the other one. So he's guaranteed to ping next turn. And then he can Sphere of Sapience every time he gets a bomb.
Oh my goodness.
Now Bloodyface can brawl, and if he wins, then Eddie has no way to kill the Captain Greenskin. Oh, so he has to play... What? Ah! He should have hit the Captain Greenskin, right?
Is he counting fatigue?
Because now he's going to brawl.
No, I don't think he has to brawl now. Bloodyface doesn't have to brawl.
If he does,
oh,
if he doesn't
right,
brawl,
because it's still 50-50.
If he doesn't brawl, Eddie taps and pings, and then he has 4 Sphere of Sapience charges to put bombs to the bottom of his deck.
Right, and the four charges is a lot for Bloodyface, so he needs to have this.
Yeah, Eddie realizes right now.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he should have attacked into it. Then he could guarantee ping and just keep shuffling bombs to the bottom of his deck.
That's right. This is a 50-50 for Bloodyface to have a chance to survive.
Yeah, Eddie realizes.
Oh,
and he
wins
won
the brawl!
So now Eddie has to draw freeze. He drew freeze!
He skipped the bomb!
And now he can Doomsayer! Okay, that never
Wait,
punished,
he can still drop
Dan.
the bomb. He should ping the minion. He should ping the minion, right?
No, it doesn't matter. It's gonna die. He has no way to kill it.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
And he can't draw the bomb because this.
Wait. So now Bloodyface needs to have hit runner on the bomb. He skipped that bomb.
You don't pick
Yeah.
the
So he needs to keep. He needs to hope that the bomb does he even have time. I don't think he even has time now because 2 damage minion's gonna change the clock.
Yeah.
Never punished.
Wow. What a dramatic ending. The Sapience coming in huge.
And Solarian
Prime. Wait, is there a way for this to go awful?
He's got to do the math. He's got to do the math. I don't think so. Even if you Conjurer's calling your wand maker and get Doomsayer, it's not even a big deal.
What if he draws cards? What if he just draws 3? Like, what if it's like 3?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Card draw sources. What
if he plays Arcane Intellects? No. That was all. That could have also been a throw.
Oh, jeez. What a dramatic finish to the series. Eddie wins 3-0 and advances to Sunday's top 4. We'll set an alarm clock for him.
Oh my gosh. If he plays Solarian Prime and casts Arcane Intellect and draws a bomb, and draws bombs.
I don't know, TJ. That was...
I feel like
that was an unnecessary risk. I felt like that was an unnecessary risk. However, I get what he's thinking because it's a low probability that happens. He had 11 cards in his deck. We knew that there was 1 bomb left, but like if he drew any cards, and I think if bomb number 3 was in that exchange, he would have died.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter.
Or tied. I don't know. It's kind of wild.
Does Sphere of Sapience count when it's cast from Solarian Prime? It's at the start of your turn. Sphere of Sapience
at the start of your turn. Yeah, it's at the beginning of your turn. You basically scry 1 at that point.
Because there was 1 bomb that had not been shuffled, right? To the bottom.
Yes.
Okay. So it is very unlikely.
Okay. Well, very chaotic game.
The not brawling or the not pre-attacking. That I think.
Yeah.
Unforgivable.
They're unforgivable. That's right, DJ. A lot of chaos. That fun game, fun series, but that was just our 3rd out of 5 today. We have 2 more remaining. Frozen versus Lay is going to come up next, and then we have bloodyface versus the winner of that. I believe we're going to go straight into it as Zalay and Frozen both have banned the priests. And we're going to go into this matchup with only Warrior as a common denominator. We have Demon Hunter and Druid versus Warrior and Mage.